Welcome back to the Milestone Moment, where we take top producing agents, get to know their story, and find out how they became where they are in real estate. Today we have Sheri Putzke with Windermere Real Estate. Sheri, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
So tell us, obviously you've got a storied history in real estate, but how did you get started? Tell us a little bit kind of how you became where you are now.
Yeah, this is year 21 for me. And I got into it because my husband was a builder. And he had a business partner whose wife was a real estate agent. And when he bought out his partner, that's when I got my license. And I had young kids at the time, was kind of planning on listing 1 to 2 houses a year that he was building. And
just good to have the license and whatever, right?
Exactly. And it turned out to be a little bit more than that.
Right. Well, and what were you doing prior to real estate?
I was momming. And prior to that, I had a nursing assistant license.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
So, but been around real estate, obviously with your husband doing building, you kind of had seen quite a few facets of it, I'm sure.
Definitely. Yeah.
So tell us now, do you have like any team members? Do you just kind of do this all on your own? I mean, obviously fantastic production. Kind of tell us how you kind of do all the things that you do.
Yes, I'm kind of like Oz. All of my people are behind the curtain, right?
Okay.
So it's not really client facing.
Okay.
I just have a lot of support.
Awesome.
I have a social media manager and I have my transaction team. On occasion, I've got team members that help with showing assistance because I can only be in one place at a time.
Right.
And open house assistants and things like that. But mostly it's me.
Wow, that is, and you've got this amazing reputation, which obviously that's from many years of just doing the right thing. What do you think is kind of your secret sauce, or what you do that maybe stands out, or why you've got so many people just come back to work with you?
I really think it goes back to basics, doing things well, and just simple things. I mean, honestly, simple things. Picking up the phone.
Calling people back.
Exactly. Responding to emails.
Yeah.
Caring.
Sure.
Just being invested in your clients' priorities. I mean, honestly, if you just take care of people, everything else takes care of itself. It really is so very simple. And it is frustrating to me that, people that you work with in the industry don't even offer the basic services to their colleagues or their clients.
Right.
Yeah.
You're just do the basics, do the well, and
exactly
grow a fantastic business. Although I'm sure you're being modest, there's obviously many things that you do extremely well. Tell me, we've got 16,000 followers on this channel, so we have a lot of newer agents that watch this. Any advice for somebody trying to kind of break in? I know it's been many years and you've built up this business, but any advice for like a newer agent trying to kind of break into the business?
A couple of things, and I'm always very sympathetic to new agents because I so remember myself as a new agent, and I was with a very small brokerage, and I didn't have the support that I needed, and I didn't know I didn't have the support I needed because I didn't have any point of reference, and so it actually wasn't until I changed over to Windermere, I'm like, oh. Okay.
Got it.
I had legal counsel. I had a great broker that I could reach out to, and I had mastermind groups and colleagues and so many resources.
Yeah.
But I guess what I would say is to be authentic. Okay. There are so many ways to do this business, and just because somebody is successful one way doesn't mean that that's the way you need to go. I am not a phone person. Okay. I don't I'm not going to cold call anybody. I am never going to knock on a door. I never have and I never will. I mean, it's truly not me. Yeah. And you don't have to, make phone calls to your database. Right. There's different ways to stay in flow and be in touch with people.
Seahawks calendar or whatever it may be.
And connect. And so it's important to do what feels natural and authentic to you because people sense that and they gravitate towards it as well.
Now, with all these years in the business, are you still doing, when we first met, it was at an open house, so you're still out there on the weekends. You still do quite a few open houses, or is that?
Very much so. Okay. Yeah, I always have and I always will. As a matter of fact, that's really how I built my business because as a new agent right after I transitioned to Windermere, which was in 2008.
Okay.
So
yeah.
we know what the market was like in 2008, right?
Good timing.
Yeah. And again, I didn't have a point of reference because I had only been in the business since 2005,
Right.
and very part-time, onesie-twosie, and so I didn't know what a normal market was. And so when I joined Windermere, my broker put me in a mastermind group with a couple of other new brokers in the office.
Sure.
And one of those agents was doing site work for Cam West at the time.
Okay.
Cam West is was subsequently purchased by Toll Brothers, but they were a local builder, and I sat site for them, first as a buyer's agent and then as a listing agent. And I was very thoughtful about how I did that. Obviously, my primary objective was to sell the product.
Sure. Yeah.
But at the same time, that's not going to be a match for everybody that came through the door. And when it wasn't, I,
built relationships and spoke to people and connected. And,
exactly. And then more importantly, I kept a database. And so, I stayed in touch with these people over the years. Right. And so, yes, I still do open houses. And open houses are, something I think that's really important, but I do them for my sellers.
Okay.
Whereas most agents
are doing it for themselves.
Yeah, they're there to pick up for buyers. But I understand that. I mean, I did that too, right? Yeah. But yes, I think it's a great way to naturally meet new clientele.
And I'm sure all those at-bats with being a site agent, got some good practice for just how to connect with people and how to kind of...
And the dialogue, it shifted a lot over the years. People, how they approach open houses, and also, how buyers, how open they are, how communicative they are, and the tools and resources that they've have available to them. They have a lot more information at their fingertips now than they used to 20 years ago.
You've seen the evolution of a lot of markets, and there's
exactly.
a little bit of a change there.
For sure.
So the premise of this show, the milestone moment, it's when it all maybe made sense for you or changed for you in real estate, or when you knew real estate was the place for you. When do you think, what do you think your milestone moment may be?
I would have to say moments.
Okay.
I don't have a moment. It's the little nuggets that I've learned and taken along the way. Like, for example, it's ironic to me that I am a real estate agent, to be perfectly honest with you, because I'm so anti-sales.
Okay.
And ultimately, I think that served me really, really well, because I'm not a pushy person. I am here to educate, hold hands, teach, and people appreciate that because they don't want to be sold. Right. And granted, some people do. I mean, somebody really wants a heavy-handed agent. I was going to say go-getter, but I am a go-getter, a closer. Yeah. And I'm just not like that. Okay. I mean, I work with people on their timeline, and I help educate them about the process, and that has ultimately served me very well.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That makes a lot of sense. So I think there's a lot of people that's super refreshing because they get these cold calls or people calling them and saying that they'll do X, Y, and Z, but you just tried and true and connect with clients in that way. So we're midway almost through 2026, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you've added to your business this year or something that carried over from last year that you're kind of excited about, or any changes in your business coming up or anything new?
No major shifts other than the market. The market has shifted, and so the conversations with our clients has changed. The dialogue's changed, and so it's about tools in the tool belt to educate our clients, and primarily, I'm thinking sellers, but buyers too, just about what that means for them in terms of opportunities and challenges. And so just not being afraid of those harder conversations. People appreciate the honest feedback and dialogue and expectation setting, right? And if, for example, if a seller isn't aligned with reality in terms of their house value, then I might not be the right agent for them. And I am A-okay with that, right? Because I'm not going to, it would be a frustrating process potentially for both of us if they want to price, $200,000 above market value of their home.
Like that's just not the right fit, and if they don't want to listen to you, then that's a telltale sign, I guess. So Sheri, you're so big into local sports and community involvement. Can you tell us a little about some of the things that you do within the community that you're excited about kind of talking about, or anything you do in the holidays, or any food drives, or anything that Windermere does that you kind of connect to as far as things go that you like to?
Yeah, I mean, we have our Community Service Day coming up this coming Friday, and so that's an opportunity. And we work with different organizations every year, and the office spends a full day providing some sort of aid or assistance or labor, whether it's landscaping, painting, fence repair, things like that.
That's so cool.
Yeah, Windermere gives back a lot to their community, and it's really a pleasure and a privilege to work with a company that cares so much about the community that we work in.
Built up such a good name, especially in this market. It's outstanding. And I guess, when did you say 2008 you joined Windermere? Or?
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite the run.
Yeah.
Which and tell us a little bit about your office. Is that something you've got to kind of connect with as far as your brokerage, or tell us a little bit more about?
Yeah, I'm with the Windermere Yarrow Bay office in Kirkland, and it's one of the top producing offices in the MLS. It's been such a blessing to me because we have such a large office. There's lots of really high producing agents, and so there's so much knowledge, expertise, and collaboration. Always somebody to go to with if you need a resource, or you have a question or a problem, or want to talk a situation through. It's really been wonderful.
I love it. So, interesting market, as you had mentioned. It's changing by the headline, I guess, currently, as far as things go. What's some advice you either have to sellers currently or to buyers, or any advice for kind of anybody in the market currently?
There's a lot of noise.
Okay.
There's a lot of noise out there, and so kind of focusing on the current situation. I think that it's easy to read headlines and let fear and panic take over, but to focus on what your priority and what your goal is, and then an action plan with your agent, right? Whether it's buying or selling, and where the opportunities are and where the challenges are, so that you can have a game plan to execute.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, fantastic advice. Any parting words for kind of anybody thinking about buying this year? I mean, obviously, when we talk to buyers, it's if you can make the payment work, and if you can kind of get your foot in the door. Obviously, there's a lot of negotiability right now. I think that could be fairly fleeting. Obviously, again, a headline away from a different market, but anything that you're kind of seeing out there?
Just that there are great opportunities for buyers in this marketplace. Rates are a little bit higher than where they were previously, a couple of years ago, certainly versus COVID. But at the same time, you're not escalating 20% with multiple offers. And so it's a much safer, feel-good process in terms of negotiating.
Being able to see the property before you make an offer?
Yeah.
Remember those days?
Having an inspection, working through the inspection, maybe having a seller credit to offset some of the payment. So really phenomenal. And not only that, I mean, the negotiation is great, but the choices, there's a lot more inventory now. And so, you don't have to scramble out there the minute it hits the market, because it's going to sell before the offer
wave
review
everything,
date.
Escalate. I mean, it's just wild. Right? It's
Give
way
away
more comfortable.
Your firstborn. There was some crazy stuff going on in that marketplace.
I know.
So yeah, it's really it's a nice process for buyers right now. So people that are looking really have some nice opportunities.
Yeah, no problem. Well, such great advice. I'm so impressed with the business you've built. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.